or welcome back to my channel, Elemental Origins. My name is Starr. Today I'm going to enter into the space with this teeny tiny little bit of Palo Santo, which in Spanish is known as holy wood. And I don't feel quite ready for this reading today, everyone. This is the second reading that I'm filming of the day. And the first reading was for the throat chakra, Vidishuddha chakra. And I was hearing that this is a continuation from that expression. And I was guided to put in the energy of the super full moon partial eclipse that we've had in Pisces in with this reading for MABON for the autumn equinox. And I was guided to bring a lot of crystals into the mix. I'm here, I'm going to share what they are as well. So I brought in some, oh my gosh, tree agate. I brought in some double labradorite. I brought in dragon's eggs labradorite and also half geodes. I brought in 2 sets of lapis lazuli. I brought in the star lapis lazuli and moon lapis lazuli, also a different piece of lapis lazuli. I brought in sodalite. I brought in, I keep wanting to say shungite too, but I don't actually have it on the table. I've brought in the pyrite skull. I brought in my Lemurian quartz, which is just here by the side of me. I brought in some water agate. I think that's correct. I brought in the chakra point crystals. We'll left those in from the Vishuddha chakra reading. I brought in the obsidian witch's hat. I've brought in some moonstone. I have brought in some twigs and leaves and a piece of bark. I brought in an acorn that pine cone that I got from a little walk that I had earlier on in the week. I brought in some conkers and some rowan berries as well. And I heard a very interesting conspiracy theory connecting to rowan berries this morning. So some of you might want to look into that. Rowan berries and berry bushes. Yeah, you might want to look into that. And I've also brought in, I forgot, this little labradorite bean. I call this like my Jack and the Beanstalk bean. Well, I always hear this is someone else's Jack and the Beanstalk bean and a masculine energy. So that's confirmation for some. And I'm not entirely sure how this reading is going to go because I was told to bring in a lot of intuitive understandings to this reading. And I was feeling this energy of, you know, MABON and the autumn equinox. It came out of nowhere for me. I feel like time doesn't exist. I feel like I've blinked and the year has disappeared. I feel like 2023 didn't even happen. And this is an expression that I feel many of the collective are feeling right now. We're definitely just going through the shifts and the changes at a very energetic level. And I was realizing that I was tuning into the energy of everything rather than, you know, specific time per se. So this might have felt like it's come out of nowhere for some of you, but you realize that you are actually very intuitively aligned with MABON, which is connected to the second harvest. So this idea of having a fruitful harvest is now. It's connected to fruits and vegetables and the harvesting of that understanding as a energetic expression, but also, you know, the physical sense of harvesting from the land. And this idea of a long rest after a laborsome first harvest and summer. So this idea of this is now a resting period from summer. And I think that so many of us feel this rush and this need to just be continually doing at all times. You know, that's what's required from us from life. That's what's required from us to succeed. That's what's required from us to have a successful business, etc., etc. How can you tune into the cycles of life and trust? That is what is being brought forward through this reading today. How can you trust the seasons of your life to bring you exactly what you need as long as you are listening to the cycles of life? And I'm going to bring in the Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye. I call it like my warlock hat. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to bring this in. This has been facing backwards on my altar. This idea of as above, so below was coming forwards towards me as I was setting up as well. So some of you, magic is really important to your practices in your life, and I consider magic to just be nature at this point. You know, I've gone through and seeded a lot of expressions connected to magic, darker practices, lighter practices, etc., etc. You know, I've delved into many aspects of everything, not just in this lifetime, but many, many others. And I like to consider magic and alchemy just nature at this point. So that might help some of you tap into more of your, I guess, spiritual understanding somewhere, and that of alchemy. Some might consider it to be science, although I'm not very science driven. I have a very logical brain, but I just see everything as energy at this point. So this idea of alchemy being energy, and also energy in nature. So depending where you are in your understandings, you might want to shift from science to energy, or from energy to nature, to bring this more into a tangible expression for MABON. And I was hearing this expression of the ritual specifically for this equinox is going to be very, very, very beneficial for some. This is about shedding the old and making way for the new. And this idea of understanding exactly what we've learned in our lessons thus far, and what we've created and culminated through summer as well. What have you learned through summer? What does summer bring you? What does summer teach you? Now's the time to correlate all of that into an expression. And I was hearing that this equinox, MABON, autumn equinox, is a portal space. And portals have been very important to my spiritual expression and my, I guess, understanding of self and soul. And I think that some of you in the collective very much work with this energy too. So this idea of putting things into motion to be able to jump timelines and expressions is very much here for you, connecting to MABON and this autumn equinox. And I brought in 3 crystals as well to the mix. I'm not sure how they are going to align to the reading, but they are here for you to choose between. So we have tourmaline as the first crystal, which is very much for the removal of blockages and stagnant energy. And I always see this as my protection stone. And there was a really, really great crystal trap song about tourmaline that I'll try and find and tag in the description. And I didn't know that tourmaline was connected to October, that this is the stone of October. And I was very much listening to that song back to back to back a few days ago. And yeah, I've been very much guided to my tourmaline. And I don't often love tourmaline because it crumbles. So sometimes I will wake up with bits crumbling in my bed, but I know that I see that as a sign that I've broken through something if I find bits of broken tourmaline in my bed after dream time. And this crystal is milky quartz somewhere, but I was being told to turn this crystal into zebra jasper for the specific understanding of this reading. And this is to help avoid overthinking and get us moving. And I'm hearing this is not moving in terms of a physical sense. This is in terms of moving out of the old and into something new. There was just this real strong energy of just, you need to get out of the old. And I said to self, no more crystals. And then I saw this crystal and I thought, it has to come with me. And I realized it was for this reading specifically, and to bring this information forward to some. You have to move out of the past, because it's not the same anymore. You're not the same. Is a strong message coming forward. Allow old preconceived notions of self and that which others brought to your table to fall, because you're ready to step into something new. And this is very much connected into divine feminine energy and that of the divine mother of Mother Rose. And I did do a divine Mother Rose workshop, so if you would like to access the replay of that, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And I will give a massive shout out to Cosmic Cat, who has created a Mother Wound 3-day part workshop, which I do believe is going to be the replay form that you can access. Apologies, Kat, if that's not true. But I had an amazing experience delving into that and soul connected to the mother wound, and that's very much being brought to the surface within this reading as well. So you might want to look into that, what that means. You might want to reach out to Kat. She's done a lot of work in that area of expertise, so you might want to gain some help and some understanding through her as well, is what I want to share. And I've also brought in carnelian, and this is known as a sunstone. It was very much connected to the ancient Egyptian understanding, and this being the stone that helps you as a talisman for prosperity. And this is the first time that I've got this energy of carnelian being there to help you through trauma. And I've always seen this as like a little baby skull. So I've always connected this to inner child energy. So, trauma that might have been connected to the inner child. You might want to grab some carnelian to help you in that expression. Signed off by a very important little guy that I have called Piggly. So that's triple confirmation for some. But I'm not entirely sure how those crystals are going to come into the mix today. These just might be marker points of understanding that you can help tune into your expression deeper. So you might want to purchase some tourmaline. You might want to purchase some smoky milky quartz, or some zebra jasper, or you might want to process some. Some of you really need to process this inner child healing through this MABON. And autumn equinox, it feels like there is a strong expression of inner child healing, mother wound healing. There is a strong expression being brought forward. But I'm going to pull an oracle from the Moon Oracle to anchor us into the energy of the super full moon partial eclipse that we've just had in Pisces. And apologies everyone that there wasn't a singular reading for that. I very much felt like I just wasn't in a space to be in that energy with you all. So apologies that it's been brought into this expression, but I'm hearing that there is a method to that too. Purifying in the snow moon. Yeah, this moon is for purifying what no longer needs to be in your expression. And I was very much hearing this idea of this autumn equinox being for those that have been through a lot. And this might be the entirety of your life. You've been through a lot, you've been struggling. It's time to put the weight down and to release yourself. So rituals, burning rituals, putting... I want to say, how do I want to word it? Because I don't want to trigger some, but this idea of, creating ritual around releasing of one's own energy is going to be very, very beneficial. And I want to say, just creating aspects of self into expression. I'm trying to avoid saying casting or spell casting because I know that it has a lot of negative correlations to that and can be quite triggering for some. But this is about, destroying the past. I knew that was a really strong expression that wanted to come forward. Some of you might want to work with, wolves. And I'm being drawn to women who run with wolves. And I read the butterfly chapter of that book and recently, and I thought there is a lot here that can very much put some things into perspective for so many. And this idea of the divine feminine, how we are perceived and what we should be cherishing through the divine feminine. This very much feels like a divine feminine wound that we are all healing together. The mental and the owl here. Am I going to pull any more? Yeah, one more. Wow, the sustainer. And the sustainer is connected to this energy of, trying to sustain so many others and not looking after ourselves. And for some of you, this has very much been your summertime. You have not been looking after self. You've been very much running around and chasing others, I'm hearing. And you're being guided to pull all your energy back into self and to allow yourself to be seen now. And this is very much connected to the Vishuddha chakra reading that I did. And the throat chakra had some expressions brought forward that I wasn't expecting. And this idea of, being seen, being heard, and the volcano and release, and that being something that the throat chakra wanted us to be doing right now. Oceans and waves and 27, and I started that reading at 2:27. That felt important to some. So 40 and 27 might be an expression for you. And then we've got the waterfall and persistence with 42. Fire and water is going to be beneficial in ritual, and I can't think of a better word other than, creating ritual around releasing self and what you want to be putting into motion. And I was receiving this understanding of the autumn equinox is here is to help you refresh all of that which you've already been putting into motion and making sure that you're coming at everything from a heart-centered, soul-centered space, and specifically connected to business. And we've got Jasmine and sensuality in 20 there. So yeah, another 2. This idea of beauty, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So that expression is there for some. What does that mean? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. This might be something you want to journal out through this autumn equinox. And for some, this is very much connected to childhood healing. Wow, yeah, the curse on 14. For some of you, this idea of not speaking your truth. And this is connected to childhood trauma. And this idea of Carnelian helps you with that which you perceived too. This idea of trusting self and that which you perceive. So, I'm getting pretty sensitive in here, and apologies for that. But this idea of what you think you experienced as a child, you did experience, and this needs to be looked at. This needs to be something that you go and seek professional understandings with and advice from, because I think there is a lot of wounding there that needs to be worked through. For some in the collective, this message will not be for all, so please be aware of that. But for those that, needed to hear that, I'm sorry that I have to bring this expression towards you, but this is to show you that, your inner child couldn't cope with, you being a child, you couldn't cope with what you were experiencing then, but now you are ready to voice this out so that you can deeply heal. Yeah, the moon in 37. You've broken a cycle by doing this healing, but you've only gotten so far. You need to go and express all that you've experienced with another, whether this be, therapy, whether this be a friend or a family member. You need to speak your truth to them, and this is definitely coming from the throat chakra reading as well. Luminous warrior in 32. Some of you just keep going, and this autumn equinox, every single being out here that supports you is saying, don't stop, don't do it, stop rushing ahead. Please pause now and heal. Please pause now and take a look at everything that has been plaguing you, that has been making you feel in lack, because the more that you can just release and be in a flow state, the easier that the rest of life is going to be. And you keep jumping through hoops. Some of you keep saying, no, but I have to. No, you don't. And specifically now, please stop. And for some, as soon as the sun's outside, you're like, I have to be outside in the sun. And it's okay to be doing that. But also, if you spend all day outside in the sun, it's okay to then want to come in and rest. And, if you feel like you want to rest, just rest. That's what I'm hearing. Please just rest. The rainbow is going to always find you. And for some, you don't know how to say no. You don't know how to say no to yourself. And you have to from now on. You have to say no to self, because you are literally burning yourself out at the seams. I'm going to pull a little bit more from this rainbow card. Yeah, the Three of Wands. For some, you need to just go exploring. And for some, this is exploring your inner landscape. This is exploring the inner scapes that you know that you can reach. And this allowing for you to gain insight on your abundance. For some, you've been asking how, and you haven't been turning within. I'm being drawn to runes there, so that's a specific notion for some. And I put my finger on this card here, and it felt like there was something sticky here. And when I looked at it, it looked like a bracelet, and then I scrubbed it and it came off. So for some, you might have just lost a bracelet, or a bracelet is connected to your abundance somewhere, or a crystal bracelet, something like that. You might be wanting to sell jewelry, or that might be something you're wanting to create. Those are confirmations for you. What does that mean? You're going to find the keys to your freedom of your lack mentality and your pain. Yeah, your victimhood. You're releasing victimhood, and being called a victim is definitely something that was an incredible trigger my whole entire life, because my father used to say to me time and time again, stop playing the victim. And I definitely was to some degree, but also he just said that to any form of emotion that I expressed. So when people would say stop playing the victim to me, I would absolutely go berserk. It was a massive trigger for me, and apologies to all ex-boyfriends out there, because when those words were uttered, she saw red. It's not funny, but I always see like blood splatter here in this card, and it was a deep rage. I'm over those days now, but it was a deep rage that came forward. Five of Swords. Don't let your mental mind take over. For those that are releasing, allow for it all to just fall away, and for you to receive from the universe. For some, you have been asking the universe for answers, but you do not sit to receive. Queen of Cups, you're being called out. You have to sit and just receive. You're always on the go. Some of you are always on the go, and you're being called out. They're saying you have to stop, you have to sit. And if you've been feeling, not to be working as hard of late, and if you've been feeling, not to be putting out as much content, or you've not been feeling to show up as, I want to say as, how do I want to word that? If you want to show up without any makeup on, you can do that, is what I want to share. To whoever that aligns with, I am forgiving. I feel like there is a deeper expression of that. You are lovable, even if you don't show up as presentable as you think you should be for others. I communicate with compassion. Those that have compassion for another or others do not care how you show up. They love you regardless. This idea of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you feel like you have to keep certain standards to be with someone, then this is not a peaceful place to be. We should not feel like we have to be, presentable in a certain way to be accepted by others. I achieve with integrity. If someone is saying to you, you know, you have to dress up for me, you have to be and look a certain way, then they are not in flow with themselves. You do not have to be in that expression with them. I keep my waters pure. Yeah, this does feel like connected to divine feminine energy, and apologies divine masculines that are out there, you know, and I believe that we hold divine masculine and feminine energies inside all of us. I try to be gender neutral, but this does feel like the connections to the feminine energy, and that's because I read that insert of the butterfly from Women Who Run With Wolves. So if this expression is connected to you, reach out to me and I will send you pictures of that insert, because I think that it's going to help you come into balance with accepting body. You might struggle with you know, EDs or understanding your physical body here. I've gone through a crazy journey with my body, connected to, you know, believing that I am a Pleiadian starseed and what that meant for this vessel, like believing that this is not my inherent vessel, and how that's felt for me, and how dissociated I've been of my body my entire life, and then being drawn into my body because I feel so much a very inherent soul's expression. That's very much how I, you know, divinate, is through feeling and sense. So I've had a very strange experience with this vessel, feeling so much but then also being mentally dissociated from my body, but then having to hypersensitively feel it at the same expression. It's been a paradoxical understanding within itself, and I've been somewhere in the mix of all that. So that might be an expression for some, if you could keep up with what I was sharing then, but it feels like you don't connect to your body, and if someone is making you not connect to your body, that is not a healthy space to be. This feels like a relationship. Do not let the world tell you how to be and how to live your life, how to express yourself. You should be whoever you want to be. Your body should look however you want it to look. Your body should look exactly how it looks when you know that you are taking care of self. You know, make sure you are eating enough, make sure you are drinking enough. Don't go hungry. You know, don't overeat either, but don't go hungry. Especially not for another. Yeah, it's making me want to cry. It's making me want to absolutely burst into tears. And I'm here for you, whoever this connects to. You know, if this relates to you, please know I'm here to support you in any way that you might need. It feels like you're in a very toxic environment and you should get out, is what I want to share. And that feels like a very specific message to someone. I'm being drawn to Grimes as an expression in that. So that might be a confirmation to you somewhere. I speak with good intent, and I was hearing this in the throat chakra reading, but I wasn't seeing that picture. So stalks, I'm hearing lilies of the valleys, but I'm seeing a very different expression of plant, like a reed, and I can't remember what the plants are called, but I can see them. I'll put it in the description if I can remember, and I don't know if they're connected to specifically the autumn equinox, but I can see them. I want to say that ducks are in them often, so I'm being drawn to the duck feathers too, and how bright they are. And I think I always get really annoyed at the ducks because, you know, the male ducks have the bright feathers, and then the female ducks, you know, don't have the bright feathers. And I've always thought that's not fair. So that's an expression to some. You can be as bright and as bold as you want to be, and no one should tell you not to be. Even if you're in a space where it's not called for, continue to be who you want to be. And, you know, we should all be expressing ourselves however we want to express ourselves. And I'm seeing peacock feathers here. So you might want to be becoming a lot more of an expressive soul. And this is something that you haven't been the entirety of your life, but you get to be whomever you want to be at any given moment. Embrace it all. Embrace all that you are. I'm trustful in my relationships, and I always see this as like unity in community card. This idea of that no matter where you come from, no matter religion, race, you know, where your origins stem from, we are all connected in soul, in intuition. And this idea that we all have inherent intuition, I think, gets missed often. And everyone can tap into anything. You just have to ask for it. You know, there are those that have done this in previous lifetimes. So it might come a little bit easier for some, simpler for some, but that doesn't mean that they are not struggling in other ways. And I didn't come into this path, you know, as easily as some. I did a couple of mediumship courses, and you know, I was dunce in the class. I was not connecting in like others were. It took me a little while for me to truly step into self, and you know, I feel like I'm at phase 1 of my expression. I really, really do. So trust in that knowing too. If you feel like you've been at this for some time and nothing is happening, trust that your power is coming in divine right timing, and we have to trust that. You might have just started to see auras and expression. Pentacle and respect. Hold all altars with respect. And this is to those that might be looking to be doing self-serving magic and ritual through MABON or autumn equinox. Please be careful. Be careful what you are doing and what you are calling in, especially now, because energies are aligning for us to be in balance with all. So whatever you are connecting into in ritual, make sure that you are doing it for the highest good of all and not just self. And sometimes, you know, we can be doing things that we want to be experiencing for self, but is that going to be truly harming another, is what I want to share in that expression. So really take some time to reflect before you set things into motion, is what I'm hearing. Wow, the central sun, abundance, downloads, regeneration and success. So this idea of ancient Egypt is coming forward really strongly for some. You might want to look into the sun god Ra. You might want to look into carnelian and lapis lazuli connecting to the ancient Egyptians. That's a real strong message coming forward. I knew that a mandala was going to come out. Solar light upgrades, solar plexus chakra, inner fire and willpower. For some of you, your power is in your solar plexus and you've only just come into understanding of that. The solar plexus chakra is in the tummy area. I always see this as the I am space. It's connected to the color yellow, and I've done a full reading connecting to the solar plexus chakra too, which you can go and find in the playlist of the chakra series. There was some really beautiful messages that came forward within that, but this idea of that you are your own light at any given time. Some of you are really going to have to tune into this inner light, because there is a lot from the past that could pull you down. Don't get stuck in the purging, you know, get stuck in the idea that anything is possible. I'm so glad that portal space came out. Higher heart activation, dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. And for some, you are moving out of the heart healing phase because you are ready. And the confirmation is Hathor's light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. So yeah, some of you need to recall in your power through this autumn equinox, because I'm hearing you've been giving your energy away left, right and center through summer. This is now time for you to come back into you. And for some of you, you are just starting to understand how you would like to work in your spaces, how you would like to work with energy, and that is okay. Keep coming back to self. Come to me, attract like a rose, receive abundance desires. Working with divine mother rose energy is going to be very much important to some. Getting into spaces of pleasure with another, with self specifically, is going to be really important to some. We've got the hummingbird and the bee there as confirmation for that. Well, yeah, release the petals, transformation, death and rebirth, shedding all change. Yeah, for some of you, connect into this ancient Egyptian energy to shed all that no longer serves. And you've got another rainbow here. After the rain, silver lining, relief, hope, mercy, it's over and accept. And for some of you, you let a lot of things go through summer, and now is your time to receive. Through this autumn equinox, there is going to be a massive harvest for you that you are not expecting. And you aren't supposed to rush, because I'm hearing there is going to be a lot stepping forward for you that is going to be, that you're going to have to work through discernment to receive. You're going to have to decide if something is for you or not. And you have changed so much. Everyone that is here, everyone that is receiving this, over the last 2 to 3 months, you have changed exponentially, whether you realize it or not. And I'm going to pull some... I'm going to pull from the Sacred Spirit reading cards, which I wasn't sure. It felt like there were so many cards that wanted to come forward, and I wasn't sure about it. So yeah, that's confirmation. Trust your instincts, everyone. I don't feel like I've come back down yet. And I think that's an expression for some. You've been very much in this purge phase, like a lot of us have, but specifically for those that have been on the path of expanse or ascension for a while, this year has been an absolute overhaul, and I just wasn't expecting it. I knew that, 2024 was going to be the year of collapse, but I didn't see it as the year of collapse of us. And, thinking about it in a logical sense, that makes the most amount of sense, but I just didn't see it coming. And to be sent back to what felt like center, nothing void. I've done a reading that's connected to entering the void, so I'm going to tag that in the description as well. It's quite a heavy understanding, and I think Ganesh was brought into the beginning of that. So elephants as a totem is an expression for some. Well, the spirit messages observe limitations. And for some of you, stop perceiving where you are as a limitation, because you can go, have, say, be, do, and experience anything. 12 divine will let go of fear. Yeah, for some of you, you have a massive fear of the divine and, connecting into that of ether, which is completely understandable. But I promise you, they bring so much love and affection, a love that I have never truly experienced, I don't think, here this lifetime, until I felt the energy of the divine, and it was just something you cannot put into words. It is incredibly, incredibly powerful and potent, and something that just absolutely speaks to soul. And I realized that I was always searching for this energy, the entirety of my life. And I brought forward this expression of someone being married to magic, and I definitely feel like that message was for me, because to me, alchemy and magic is the divine. So, my heart is very much in that space first and foremost, and that is where I feel most at home, most held, is in the expression of expanse and ether. And I will continue to chase that the entirety of my life. I will continue to step forward in that expression and let that be my heart. And if that aligns for you, that is okay, is what I want to share. 18, ground your light, let your soul shine. For some, this is about really letting your soul shine to you, giving all of that nurturing energy that you've been spreading out, flittering out to others throughout the entirety of summer, bringing that energy back to you so that you can be in balanced energy. And for some, this is stepping forward, so I'm going to share it. Secret temptation. Resist temptation right now. Don't be led astray. If you feel like you don't want, it's almost like some of you are running away from this purge energy, so you'll keep chasing temptation when you should just sit and let everything be released that needs to be released from you. And for some, you might not be seeking temptation, but you might be seeking outsourced understandings. Instead of sitting with self, you might be, constantly creating plans, or constantly creating space where you don't have time for self. So use your intuition wisely at the times when you should be connecting in with self or with others. And for some, this is going to feel incredibly uncomfortable, because there's going to be a lot of tears. Calling in the energies of birds is going to be beneficial for some, I'm hearing. Yeah, bird energy specifically. How can bird energy help you, is what I'm hearing. Falcon energy I'm hearing. But I'm going to close on some starseed oracle. There's many oracle out of this deck. But this very much didn't feel like how I was expecting it to feel. Signs. The universe has been gently nudging you forward by revealing to you signs and synchronicities. Now, it's being drawn back to the movie Signs and how much fear it instilled in us connected to aliens, and I really don't like that. And I remember that I was terrified of galactic energy somewhere at some point in my life connecting to the movie Signs, and it's hilarious to me, the timing, because not so long after that, I was actually told that I guess I'm an alien somewhere, and yeah, it's just so funny to me. So I don't know why I'm sharing that expression, but it needed to come forward. Truth. See your light, know your power, have the courage to walk your truth. And maybe, some of you were terrified, and actually now you know that you're a starseed, and you're thinking, how can I be? Because I was terrified of that expression. And maybe you were supposed to be terrified, so you didn't wake up too soon, is what I want to share. Gratitude, universal love, signs of the miracles of life all around you. Have gratitude in your spaces, and know that you can unlock any door. This idea of the key and the keyhole and the key as an expression keeps coming forward. And I think it was in the last reading that I did, whatever that was. Maybe that was the heart chakra and the key. So you might want to go check out that heart chakra reading. But this has very much been the energy of ether connecting to autumn equinox, MABON, but also the throat chakra, this idea of ether and the throat, and that being very much in alignment and connected to the abundance. When your heart's intention is to serve humanity, doors of abundance naturally open. So avoid temptation. Be for the all, not just for self. And for some, this is an incredibly potent message. Now is the time to be with others. Now is the time to share with others. Now is the time to say, I'm ready to be for all and not just self. And this might be, a long road ahead. I'm being taken to substance abuse, etc., etc. Please do seek the help that you need in that expression. Please know I'm always here to help in terms of energy work. But for some, this is going to illuminate so much to you that you need to do with inside self, and that was always a point that you were supposed to get at. So trust in the timing of your life, trust in everything that you are feeling right now. And for those that are purging, please know I'm right there with you. Please go and seed in expressions with the land, but also let information come towards you. This is for so many. Please just sit and let the information come towards you. Stop giving, stop outsourcing. It all comes from within inside of you, and sometimes, you know, that ripples out through us and gets brought back to us by the divine. We are all divine in our expression. That's why my connection to the divine feels so important to me, because that is who we are. We are all divine. It's just this world that blocks us from feeling that. And, you know, I feel like sometimes I sound quite, I don't know, religious or preachy in my expression, but that is not how I feel. I can promise you I went through a very warped perspective of religion, so I'm not connected to any one doctrine at all. However, you know, I do receive energy, and I receive energy when I connect to different deities of expression, from all different spaces of time, of, you know, understanding, and I just receive it as a vibration, as a frequency. So that's perhaps for those that perhaps had a different expression of what they thought I was. I don't connect to any strict doctrine whatsoever. I'm very open and fluid in my expression of that, and, you know, that I seed in all sorts of information from all manners and specters of understanding, and that can be your truth too. So maybe you are wanting to break free from the shackles of a strict doctrine of the past, and you're wanting to be more fluid in your expression. You're allowed to do that, is what I want to share. But just highlighting this idea of inner child healing, the mother wound, connecting to nature, connecting to the moon cycles as ritual in its expression, you know, I guess casting somewhere, alchemy. Yeah, I just want to call it alchemy rather than casting. I know it's really triggering for some. Alchemy, and looking into the pain and the raw essence of nature, and how we can be that within soul too. Some of you have gone through incredibly difficult things in this lifetime, and you need to give yourself the grace and time to heal. You will make time, you will find time. The divine will grace you time. You know, you just have to put that into notion. And maybe it won't be right away. Maybe this is something that you're like, I really need some time off. Like, how can I get some time off? You feel like there is no time off. I promise you the divine will make it happen when it's in divine right alignment for you. So if you've been waiting, you know, to go on a trip or to go on holiday, etc., etc., it's like the divine will make that happen for you when it's divine right timing. But sometimes we just have to sit and feel and release so that we can let all this sunshine in. Yeah, grabbing some tourmaline is going to be really beneficial for so many as well in the collective. Or working with schools, and schools I consider to hold their own vibration and understanding from many previous lives, but also the understandings of those that are, I guess, having a bird's eye view of our expression right now. This idea of the divine speaking through skulls, you know, they speak through us. We download information into our own brain and vessel, and then we send it down, you know, through to us and down into the earth. For some of you, you are gatekeepers of expression, and you haven't figured this out yet. That's the keys to your understanding. You are gatekeepers of expression. You are, how do I want to say it? You are walking encyclopedias and dictionaries of expression, and you haven't figured this out yet. So that's a nice nugget of, there's a key to your lock for some. You hold a lot of keys to universal understanding, and this is why they wanted to keep you trapped. I'm gonna ring the bell as confirmation there for some. You know, if you know, you know. They wanted to keep you small and stuck because you hold a lot of information. So let it flow through you, even if you're not sharing it with others. You sitting in that expression for self, doing self-research, is helping the collective. So that's a confirmation for some. I feel like I could just sit and be with and speak to you all for a really long time. If you feel the calling to be connecting with me, please do, because I feel like there might be expressions that we can share with each other that will help us seeding our expression. I'm just being drawn to all of this light here, and the tears. Let it fall. And when I first started to connect into the divine, there were so many tears because I had not felt a love like it. It was like I was pushed into a corner to receive all of this divine love, and it was like, ugh, what do I do with this? This is so much love. This is really painful. I've never experienced it in this higher capacity before, and I just melted, you know, and I continue to melt. I continue to break down. I continue to be turned into nothing. Ego dissolves time and time and time again. So swimming out in free water, you know, getting out into nature, being in nature for this time. But yeah, water specifically, if you can go paddling, if you can go swimming, if you can go barefoot in the ground for autumn equinox, please do. There is something that wants to be seeded through you, and it's going to be up to you to tune into that energy. How can you seed in yourself into nature? How can you give back to Mother Earth by gracing her with the gifts that you hold from previous lives and different lifetimes and different star systems for many? Some of you are incredibly powerful on all souls, if not everyone that is here watching. You know, I never want to take away from a soul, but we're just on different life paths and understandings. But I feel like some of you are on the precipice of opening up this whole entire door at this vacuum of energy that you've been suppressing and holding back, and no more. Now's the time to step forward and to share with yourself. Share your gifts with yourself, and this is to those that need to hear it. Please take some time off. You really, really need it. But that's all for myself and teams of light, connecting to the autumn equinox and the super partial full moon eclipse in Pisces. And this is, you know, connected to the Virgo axis as well, so you might want to look into those placements in your chart and understanding how crystalline energy can help you in your expression. If you would like to delve in a little bit deeper in terms of energy work or crystal healing, please do not hesitate to reach out. If you would like to have a personal reading with myself, how to contact me is in the description below. And you know, if you would like to help in deeper expressions of healing, there is different ways that I would be able to support you in that space. I've done a lot of inner child healing in my time, and a lot of expressions connecting to darker ritual and practice and releasing oneself from those understandings. And apologies to whom that triggers. You know, I know that there are some that do partake in darker practices, and I do not have a problem with that. It's the self-serving aspect of that some have been trapped in previous lives that I work with. So that is confirmation for some. You know, you might have been feeling that energy, even though you are feeling of light in darker spaces, and you know, the dark, the shadow right now. And for some, don't get lost in your shadow work. You are not your shadow, but you are your shadow in the light, is what I want to share. If we look at the shadow aspect and see ourselves as that whole in its entirety, yes, we seem like awful, awful beings, but we are the soul in light. Hop over into the light. And I'm seeing the infinity of hopping out of the dark and into the light, but we're bringing it through, you know, the cycle. We're bringing all of that darkness and we're filtering it through to the light. So we're not this deep, deep dark expression, although that is us. We are ultimate 50-50 light and dark, every being that exists, but we are both of those in the exact same space. And you might want to have like mudras that are connected to that space for some of you. I don't know why that expression's coming for, but it feels like something. Holding mudras and humming in that expression is very, very healing for some. Singing bowls, crystalline healing, I'm hearing, yeah, sound bowls specifically for some is very, very important, and connecting into dragon energy. If you would like to work deeper with your dragon spirit, please do reach out to me. I feel like the dragons are absolutely crying out to be worked with now, and that's definitely something that I'm going to be working on behind the scenes for sure. Again, calling myself out there for not sitting to receive everything that is wanting to come for me. I definitely felt called out by this reading today, so I'm going to heed that warning to everyone. So please sit and receive so that you can heal to the deepest capacity now, so that you don't have to do it later. And this is something that I've always seeded in my expression time and time again. It was like, okay, I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to do it now, because I don't want to be facing it later. I'm being drawn to my Mother Rose workshop that I did, so you can access the replay of that. And also I did a Blue Lotus workshop too, so that's going to be connected to the Vishuddha chakra, the throat chakra as well. And there was some quite intense expressions that were brought forward through that. They completely hijacked, I say spirit completely hijacked that understanding. I remade my entire workshop in the space of an hour. They were like, no, we don't want to do that today. And I was like, what do you mean? But I obliged. So that might be an expression for some that you want to delve into, understanding Mother Rose energy and Blue Lotus energy as well. But that's all. That is from myself today. But yeah, it just feels like I can keep talking. Pentacles, tapping into the truth of where you want your abundance to come from, everyone. And it was 3:03 on the clock when I was sitting down, and I was drawn to 33 and 36 and the number 1 when I was looking at the timestamps as well when I was speaking for you all. But that's all for myself today, connected to the MABON autumn equinox. I hope that you have a blue and beautiful celebrations, everyone. But do take care, and I'll be back real soon.